Not to be a hipster, but I covered her before she was popular. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sam. Today's video is going to be a little more low-key. I'm really trying to keep it so that there's not a lot of editing going into this video, and it might be shorter than what you're used to, depends on how long I ramble. But I basically wanted to pop on camera in a blanket hoodie just to let you all know that I am still recovering from my surgery. And the channel has grown so much in the last 2 months that if you're new here, I did have to go in and get a hysterectomy because my uterus did not agree with my body and decided it no longer wanted to be a part of us as an organism. So my last few videos were pre-recorded because I figured, oh, okay, by 3 weeks out, like, I'll be somewhat back to normal. That couldn't be further from the freaking truth. I am very tired. Today is the first day that I've gotten up and, gotten in the shower. And while recovery has been uneventful, outside of the tiredness, I also am extremely emotional. Like, emotions are all over the radar. So much so that I think my husband might yeet me off a cliff if he could, if that was socially acceptable. I probably would not be sitting here filming this video. I love him for putting up with me. I also have massive brain fog, so even just trying to do research or watch videos to do some of the deep dives that I thought I might be able to do has just been too much. I can't focus. If I take notes on a video, they're just like incoherent. So that's just not going to work. But you know what will work is the fact that 60 Minutes dropped an interview with Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford. Fat Acceptance TikTok has been stitching the 60 Minutes video. They've been duetting it, and overall, they seem pretty supportive. And for those of you who maybe weren't here or maybe didn't click that video because it wasn't one of my most popular, probably title, probably thumbnail, I have no idea, but I covered Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford about 2 months ago. Not to be a hipster, but I covered her before she was popular. Anyway, Dr. Stanford was published in an article where she was saying it was okay for a patient to weigh 300 pounds. And so I did a deep dive into her because I was like, oh no, toxic doctor series. Another doctor telling obese people it's okay to be obese. And what I found is she doesn't actually do that. Her entire message is telling people, yes, there's a genetic component to being obese. There we go. She agrees with the fat acceptance talking point. Then she moves on to medication to treat obesity because, as she states in her research, obesity is indeed a chronic disease. So here we are again in disagreement with fat acceptance talking points, much like this one.
Thanks for giving me a perfect example of weight stigma. Residing in a larger body does not mean that I'm automatically going to have disease. For the research, we know that there is association of residing in a larger body correlating to certain diseases, not causation.
And then if that doesn't work, if their obesity is so bad that even the medications, even diet and exercise alone can't help it, then she recommends bariatric surgery. And we all know how they feel about bariatric surgery.
They would rather we died than remain fat. They would rather we were addicted to medication for the rest of our lives than remain fat. They would rather we were miserable for the rest of our lives than remain fat. They want us to mutilate our bodies. They want us to take injections for the rest of our lives.
So it was very surprising to me to see Tess Holliday on TikTok praising this 60 Minutes interview and specifically little portions of the interview, right? Take a look.
I've always heard that it's the fast food, that it's the Diet Cokes, that kind of thing, that is the instigator. Is that true?
So I think we have to look at the different causes of obesity as a big pie. And that's one factor. But notice how I'm using this part of the pie, right? But the number one cause of obesity is genetics. That means if you are born to parents that have obesity, you have a 50 to 85% likelihood of having the disease yourself, even with optimal diet, exercise, sleep management, stress management. So when people see families that have obesity, the assumption is, what are they feeding those kids?
Yeah.
They're doing something wrong. Actually, do you know this? 79 to 90% of physicians in the United States have significant bias towards individuals that are heavier. Now, doctors listening to me may say, oh, it's not me. Hold your horses, because has that patient come to you and told you, look, doc, I'm eating well. Look, doc, I'm exercising. And the doc says to them, are you sure? I don't believe that that's really what you're doing.
Wait, are you saying that doctors don't understand obesity? Doctors?
Doctors do not understand obesity.
In one of her published studies, Dr. Stanford found that most medical schools don't teach that obesity is a disease, and in fact don't even offer courses on it, even though it's the second leading cause of preventable death in the country after smoking.
Now, of course, she doesn't go into detail. She's not even talking. She's just laying on her bed, zooming in on her face like, haha, they're right. Look, a doctor finally said that other doctors suck. And for me, grabbing this TikTok was a little more of like, I wonder how long she's going to leave this up here. Because as I've said, this doctor believes that people should lose weight, that obesity is a chronic disease. Hell, at the end of it, the commentator is saying Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford's research has found that obesity is one of the highest preventable reasons that people die every year. And here's Tess Holliday praising it. What is happening was the only thing that popped into my brain. Like, again, I think I said it was either last video or the one before, again, with the brain fog. How can a movement stand for everything and nothing all at once? In my Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford video that I made, I couldn't find reactions to her to this article. It just wasn't a thing that existed. And I had questioned, even then, 2 months ago, will they put this doctor on a pedestal? Or will they completely disagree with her? Because, wow, she's skinny, female, person of color. She kind of like fits their movement, right? But on the other hand, she's saying obesity is a disease, which they don't believe, putting them on medication, pushing bariatric surgery. Where does she fit? And the truth is she doesn't. And she is why I'm always confused by this movement. How can you stand for everything? A doctor agreeing that it's genetic, woohoo, great. Check on your little fat acceptance talking point box. But then for her to say it's genetic, but a chronic lifelong disease that needs treatment, including medication and surgery to break the barrier between your brain and your stomach and interrupt those communication channels, well, that's not something that they stand for. So does she fit the movement or does she not? Because right now it's looking like she does, and I just wanted to grab this little moment on Tess Holliday's TikTok because who knows how long it will be up there, and ask whether or not this doctor fits the movement. Did you guys watch the 60-minute interview? Did you see this Tess Holliday TikTok? What do you think of the whole thing? It was hard for me to find clips to put into this video. Brain fog is part of it, but also there's such heated debate on both sides about whether or not people should be using drugs for weight loss, whether that's just big pharma doing big pharma things, or whether it's helpful and actually proven by scientific research to help people. It's very heated, and it's taken over all of the hashtags. I couldn't even search hashtag Ozempic and hashtag fatphobia because now I'm just getting all of the people who are pro Ozempic and Mounjaro for weight loss. I mean, they're overrunning those. hashtags, which is just making research like tenfold more difficult than it was before. So I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? Are you more like Dr. Stanford, where you think, yes, diet and exercise can be the answer, but maybe isn't right for everyone? Maybe it's time to look for bariatric surgery and weight loss drugs at certain points? Or are you more pro, it's all about what you eat, less about genetics? Research is kind of in the middle right now, and I am intrigued by Dr. Stanford, so I'll continue following her closely. I'm about to go sit and watch that 60 Minutes video because it's about all I'm capable of doing right now. Your girl is tired. But anyway, thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.